All right, good evening, good day, wherever you are in the world, campaigners and creators. Welcome on board this AMRE Finance Campaign Creators Hangout. It's always an awesome pleasure for us to hang out with you guys to unpack, the different processes and the different, steps and journey that you have to go through for you to get your campaigns financed. And today we're just going to talk about the whole end-to-end process of what it really takes for you to get onboarded and get to the point of raising the required funds that you need for your campaign. We have a 6-step process in our campaign onboarding journey, and we'll talk about those 6 steps today. So for those of you who have started already, you would get a sense of what it takes. But for those who are still just joining us or just introducing your campaigns to us, you would really learn a lot about what it takes to get the campaign onboarded and ready for promotion, and of course, funding and close. So the very first step is what we call, the basic campaign information step, and that's a step where you give us, a big background about your campaign. You submit us with us a history, a summary of exactly why the campaign is important. You give us some images for those who are already implementing campaigns. You should have some pictures of some of the things you've been doing, a video recording of what you've been doing and some of the feedback you're getting and some of the reward that you expect in terms of that campaign. That basic information gets fed onto us. You can input that on our platform, and that would allow us to have an initial assessment of what your campaign is all about. Once that is done, we will have to go through the next step, which is the verification process. In that step, we will do typical, what I would call, very normal and across the board mundane checks. AML checks are very standard checks that need to be done. Know your customer checks are checks that also have to be done. Your PEP list, that's a politically exposed person list. Those are important things that potential backers would want to know. The fact list. So this verification process, last week we talked about that. There was a form for you to complete to give us all the information that we need to do those verification. That's an important step, in validating your campaign and validating you as a person in order for you to be ready to go to the next step for your campaign. So everyone who's structuring a campaign has to have all of this information ready, so that when it's been requested by our compliance people, everything should be uploaded as soon as possible in order to make, of course, your campaign journey as smooth as possible. So once the e-verification process is done, then your campaign may go on to the incubation process or not. Now, the reason why it may or may not is because it depends on how ready your campaign is. If your campaign is ready for promotion and doesn't need any support, doesn't need any ideas on how to upscale or right scale it, then you may just move directly on to the next step. So for a lot of campaigns, based on what we're finding, they will need to get to the next step, which is the incubation process, the incubation step. And here we would have engagements with our BD team. There'll be a member of our BD team that will be in touch with you just to understand, some specifics about your campaign, about the strategy, about the business model, about the economics, the team, and also to just help you, establish whether you could be potentially shooting yourself in the foot by not upscaling at the level that you should, or not right scaling your campaign. And so that process would be a one-on-one consultation and an engagement process where there will be, we just brainstorm on the various options, various possibilities, the business model, the business development possibilities, and just different aspects of what it takes to create a winning campaign. Our team will be able to guide you. They'll be able to mentor you, coach you, and give you some tips and ideas on the things that you can improve, the things you can change, the things you can adjust to ensure that your campaign is a winning one. Now, not everyone will need that kind of incubation support. For those who will be doing that, then of course that will be established and documented in that process. So once that is done, then you move on to the next stage, which is the campaign promotion stage. This is really the stage where your campaign then gets exposed to the entire community, and of course to our institutional backers as well. So we have a set of, we have two sets of potential backers. We have individuals, friends, family, who form a community, who are people that are interested in the development of Africa, who will be looking at the different campaigns on the platform and deciding whether they want to back a particular campaign or not. We also have institutional funders who are always looking for campaigns that they would like to support or to back. And of course, those campaigns will come on there for them to take a look as well. So for a lot of campaigns, you have a combination of what we call B2C backers, but also you could have B2B backers, which are the institutional backers. These two sets of backers would obviously, have access to your campaign. We'll be able to view that. We have a virtual community that is building and growing by the day. We see more than 1,000 members in that community right now. We have an endorsement. We have your pitching. You have opportunity for you to pitch your campaign to these people who create the various digital marketing strategies and possibilities for you to do that. We'll create what we call the pitching competition, and that would allow you to expose your campaign to a varied level of backers or different sets of backers or potential backers. That is really where you earn the money that you want to raise. That's the phase that happens. So once your campaign is on there and has been promoted in those different platforms, then you start to get backers. You start to have individuals who come in, chip in the amount they want to chip into your campaign. And also you have institutional backers who also indicate their willingness to back your campaign. So if you have a funding goal, which we expect your campaign to have, if you say, for instance, you want to raise $100,000, then your campaign would indicate the platform that's the amount you're looking to raise. We expect that this promotion phase would vary for different campaigns, but it would average about 90 days, which is typical of these kinds of campaigns, how long it takes. So we expect that on average, it will take about 90 days for you to have, the total amount of money that you're looking to raise as pledges on the platform. So once that is done and you've achieved your funding goal, we then move into the next step, which is our smart contracts. That's the point at which we would make some, contracts. We contract with AMRE Finance, exactly, what portion goes, what percentage goes to AMRE, and the rest of the money goes to you as a campaigner. And that will be managed by our finance team, where they will look at the various aspects that's required before any disbursements will be done. For some campaigns, especially big ones, you may not have all the funds at once, and that's very typical of of development finance processes. Typically, you will have what we call piecemeal disbursements. So the funds may not be disbursed to you at once, but what will happen is you would have to meet certain milestones, and as those milestones are met, funds are disbursed to you. And that commitment that we're making even to our backers to say we have to control that process, it's a very important governance process in development finance. So for a lot of campaigns, that is what will probably happen. But for small campaigns, you may have all your disbursement done to you upfront and go straight into your bank account or whatever payment method that your campaign will be able to use. And finally, you will go through what we call the due diligence process, where there's a customer audit, a compliance check, and a guarantee of security. And this step is really just an additional check to ensure that the campaign is doing exactly what it says it would do, ensure that it really meets the donors and the backers' requirements, and that it's not fraudulent. We have to ensure the credibility of the platform. We have to ensure that people's money go exactly where it's been stated that it has to go. So our compliance team will be doing all the relevant checks, whatever checks are required, and all of that has been built into that process. We will also have expectations around feedback and reporting from the different campaigners, exactly how the campaign has been going, how much impact they have created, how many people they have reached out to, and exactly how that impact has been felt across the community. So that's typically pretty much the whole onboarding process and the actual promotion and fundraising process. Once you've got some funding and all that, we would expect you to also give us a report, which is what we call a monitoring and evaluation process. Because that's a very also typical process within the funding world. You have to give some kind of feedback in the form of a report. So we'd expect, an annual report or a quarterly report, depending on the circumstances of how your campaign has been ongoing and what impact it's been getting. So that's the typical journey for a standard campaign on the AMRE Finance platform. And so for those of you who may have questions at this stage or who need some more understanding of any particular point, particular step on that journey, it will be a chance for us to take the questions right now and answer them for you.
While we waiting on that, Ed, I wanted to ask Ashley, asking someone where they're having problems, technical problems, the unknown person. So I admitted them back in enough time to identify themselves. If not, I will place them back in the waiting room. Ashley, can you confirm? Okay.
That's one of the campaigners. Yeah. So I actually had sent him the link, and he was having trouble accessing the Zoom app. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Great, that's fine. That's good to know. So yeah, guys, do you have any questions? I mean, is there any question around any of the steps that we talked about that you would like to get some clarity on? Do I take this silence to mean that it's very clear?
Perhaps you could
Can you hear us?
Yeah, perhaps you can ask some questions to specific people, Ed.
Yes, I was just thinking, Doreen, Smith, can you hear us? Is there specific questions about what we just talked about that you would like us to touch on?
Yeah, I don't think I really have a question, and I see myself still in the learning process, but I think I'm progressing. Today, I tried asking a question to Edmond, who just presented, and he said it will be very important I attend this training, and I think indirectly, some of the questions have been answered, because my worry was I told him I've gone through the sites and I realized that there are campaigns there that have been there for about 2 weeks, and it shows that nothing is moving. So he said, is that they have not started, how do I put it, taking them to backers. Maybe I'm still to learn the language. So at least with this presentation now, I think some of those questions have been answered. The next challenge now is the last session we had, a form was presented to us, and I've tried getting that form online to no avail. So I don't understand the process of getting in. First, I've filled in the simple registration form, even though I'm still to read my autobiography. I filled in the simple form, and then I was trying to the next stage, but I don't know yet.
Great, thank you so much, Doreen, for your questions and your concerns. Just to answer the question around the fact that there have been campaigns on there that have not been onboarded, I think we made a very strategic decision as AMRE Finance to ensure that we have a significant number of campaigns on the platform before we start exposing them to the community of backers that we are building. So what we've been doing is building a community of backers, institutional backers as well as B2C backers. But we haven't promoted any campaigns to them just yet because, as you can see, campaigns are on different levels, so different levels of preparedness for them to then be exposed to backers. So in the course of building that process, we decided to, first of all, incubate and onboard a certain number of campaigns. And the target is for us to raise or to onboard at least 100 campaigns. Now, that particular target is not set on stone. It's a target that we decided to put, but we could decide at some point to say, look, if there are 50, we would then start to expose them. But right now, we are still, onboarding a lot of those campaigns, taking some of them through incubation, because some of them are not as prepared as others. There are those that are, probably ready for funding already. And so unfortunately, those ones have to, just be patient and complete all the various processes and just wait. And at the right time, which we will be announcing shortly, we should be able to expose them to potential backers, whether it be B2C backers or institutional backers. So I hope that kind of helps in quell your concern.
Yeah, it helps. It helps.
It's a journey. It's a journey we're going together. It's been a kind of a catch-22 situation where some of the backers are saying, "Hey, where are the campaigns?" And the campaigners are saying, "Hey, where are the backers?" So which one do you start with? So we had to make a decision, and we decided, you know what, it makes more sense to get a lot of campaigns on the platform first before exposing them to the potential backers.
Ed, can I step in for a moment, please?
Yes, you can. Sure.
Yeah. Well, I think, Ed, you've responded to the question, but I beg, obviously, for the permission to just say a few words to flesh up even more what you've already rightly said. So Doreen, as you observed, last week we only introduced step 2, which is verification, right? So I just want to, in addition to what Ed has said, encourage all of you as much as you can, as quickly as you can, to complete step 1 and step 2, because those are 2 critical steps that will allow us to be able to feel confident that you are closer and closer to being ready to showcase your campaigns to backers, right? We're talking quite some, I would argue, big money here. There are campaigns looking for $250,000 and so on and so forth. Those are tens of millions, in some cases, hundreds of millions of CFA. And you would, I'm sure you'd agree with us that due diligence would be extremely important on our path to be able to make sure that those who are contributing this kind of monies are confident that they are giving that money to the right party, right? And that's why this process is kind of hectic, but it has to do with money. I just thought I should emphasize that once a campaign is ready in terms of content, in terms of quality, and in terms of form, that is when we're going to publish it to backers. Yeah. So thanks. I thought I should just make that particular emphasis. Ed, give the mic back.
Thank you for the additional explanation.
You're welcome, Doreen. Thank you so much for the question. It's a very important question, and we appreciate that.
There was a second part, Ed, on the presentation I did last week where she couldn't find the form on the online thing. I would propose, I don't know who could, if yourself or Henry could just go direct to the website and just show her again right now. I'm sure it will be to the benefit of the others. But if that's not possible, then we can always send her the form by email. But before you do so, maybe the one thing I would say, Doreen, is that if you go to our YouTube channel, and I will personally make sure that we send you the link, right? You can join our YouTube channel. So when such videos as the presentation I did last week are uploaded, you'll be able to know and then take a view. Because I can guarantee you, if you go to that video, within the first 5 minutes, you would see the instructions on how to find the form. But that's no worries about that. You know, it's our pleasure to serve you. And we are pleased to show you that right now and even email the form to you later.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Great. So Henry, are you going to do that? Are you putting the form on for Dory to see?
Oh, I can. It's on the site, but I'll pull it up and you can let me share the screen.
Okay. And try.
Yeah, all you need to do is unshare and I will share.
Yeah, but Ed, I think you're on the site. So what you needed to do was just to scroll down on that page that you are.
Actually.
It's not on that page. Go to the menu and click on company about, company overview, Ed.
Yeah, and that's where he is.
Well, he is, isn't he?
Just about,
That's why I say
I'm getting there right now.
It's right above.
You just need to scroll down and.
Let's see, my internet is a little bit slow. Okay, we're there. So go. No, I was actually on the drive. So now I'm on. The website is on. Is it on campaigns, accounts?
Look, Ed, I'm not sure if you're sharing the screen that you're working on, but there's a particular screen you're sharing right now, and that screen is on About, Company Overview. So you're actually where we are looking to show how to download the form. So if you're,
that's fine. Let's see.
So just scroll down what you're showing to us. If you just scroll down, that would be perfect. Or scroll up, whatever.
Okay, let's see. So I'm on About, Company Overview. Yep. Okay, and then can we all see the screen?
No, that's where I don't know. Maybe it's the problems from my end. The screen I'm seeing hasn't moved for the past 5 minutes.
Oh, all right. Let me go back to, let's see.
If there's a network problem from your end, then maybe Henry could just very quickly do that. Yeah, voila. So Henry has taken over.
Have you taken over, Henry? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I have. So this is the page. This is where it is, the customer journey map here. Right above that, Doreen, is the second part of the process. Is the e-verification. And we've conveniently put it right here by the journey map. So all you do is click on this link here. It will bring up the form. And this is the form that Jean-Paul went through last week. So there's a video on YouTube that tells you how to proceed with filling this out. But for, all you have to do is enter your information in here.
Okay.
And, click on the legal status of your company, whether it's a cooperative or a non-governmental organization. Let's just say it's a group partnership. Do the same thing with all these fields. After you've done that, you see this button here. Right now, until tech team tells us different, and we're going to be changing this, but just hit the download button right here. And that's going to allow you to download it to your, it's asking with changes. I'm going to say yes with changes. And once it asks you to, okay, what do you want to name it? Just name it, let's call it Doreen's verification.
Okay.
And save that to your drive. I'm going to save it right here in my strategy drive. I tell you what, I'm gonna put it in my campaign so I'll know if I have to go back to it to help you out later. I'm just gonna put it there on the e-verification. And that's all you do, save it, and you could access it later and email it to us. And we'll be providing that information, and your person, Ashley, if you need help, will help you to get it to the right person. But this is the form, everyone, and it has 3 pages. So that'll get you through. If once you complete that page, that gets you through your second step on the customer experience journey. And Doreen, that's one of the things right now that helps you get to that point where we start seeing movement and funding activity. Yeah. It's back to you, Ed.
Great. Thank you so much, Henry. Really helpful. Doreen, is that very clear for you?
Thank you for the clarification. My first worry was to go to the forms. So once I download it and I start filling it, any challenge, I'll always come back.
Yes. Any challenge, just reach out to your rep that helps you, and that's Ashley for now. Or whoever you want to call. You could call whoever you have a number for it, AMRE Finance.
Yeah, Henry and Ed, I'm sure we'll be sending onto WhatsApp a support email address, right, which such queries may be sent to if the creator prefers to send them into an email. If they'd rather post their question onto one of our social media channels, they should feel free to do so. If they like to post the question on WhatsApp, they're encouraged to do so. But I know that you'll be sending out the email address, the official email address, where all the parties who can support will receive the email at the same time, and therefore you'll get a response within 24 hours.
Okay, yeah, excellent.
So I suggest and encourage that people should use the support email address so that you have the chance of anyone on the team can be able to just resolve your issue.
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you, Doreen. So anybody else with any questions, any concerns? Hi, Innocent. Innocent is muted there. I guess we can hear from well, I don't know what his name is because it's come on there as Huawei STL. Maybe we can hear from him.
I think that's Mr. Charles Tita. Greetings. I know you're having some network problems, but greetings.
Yeah, really, I have some network problems. It's difficult to reach out. Hello. Hello. Network.
Mr. Tita may have to use the chat room to ask questions. The chat button. If anyone's having network problems, feel free to type something into the chat at the bottom of your screen. You have to scroll down and find the chat function.
Can you hear us? Charles, you're muted.
Yeah, he muted him.
Charles has always struggled with network connectivity each time he's joined. Yeah, and really, it's very sad that we have this problem in Africa. You know, the majority of our creators tend to have network problems. So we are really looking out there for a campaign to solve this problem. You know, UN Sustainable Development Goal number 17 really has to do with partnership for development. And within partnership for development, one of the call outs is internet for all, you know, because the understanding is that through digitalization, a lot of socioeconomic problems will be, in quotes, solved.
We're sure there are some campaigns on the way coming, and with time they should be on the AMRE Finance platform as well.
So Doreen, you have an emergency, we understand. It was good having you on the call today. You can please exit if you need to take care of your emergency.
Thank you so much for your kind understanding.
Yes, yes, have a great day. Good having you.
Thank you. Better day for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doreen, for coming on board. We'll chat to you later.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Innocent, I think if Charles is struggling, we have just Innocent, who is with Yannick. Innocent, can you hear us?
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
We hear you, Innocent.
We heard you briefly. I can see he's talking, but we can't hear you. So our other participant, the one with the unrecognized details, is back on, but I can't see his mic on either. And now Innocent is off completely.
Well, Ed, maybe we could say some summarizing points and wrap up this session. There's the gentleman Mundi's back on. I don't know if he could hear us. Last time he couldn't talk. So Mr. Mundi, if you could talk, I saw your picture come on the screen. If you have a question, and Ed, you may need to say that or Jean-Paul in French. I think he responded to me. Let's see if it's French.
Mundi, sounds like an English name.
Okay, let's see. Well, if Ashley spoke with him, I guess it is, because Ashley's speaking to him in the chat.
Yeah, so that's Valentine, right? Valentine Chia Mundi.
Yes.
Valentine, can you hear us?
He must be suffering from some kind of a connectivity issue as well. Yeah,
because
it's a real issue.
Yeah.
I see Innocent is out completely. If Charles himself, we can't hear Charles, and we can't hear Valentine, then I guess we may want to wrap it up.
Yeah, I have some final comment before we wrap up. So if you want to, then let me know. I can step in.
Yeah, I think you can go ahead then and give final comments.
Yeah, I mean, I'm aware that this particular Zoom is being recorded and people can always go back to it later. And that's why I want to make this final point, that because of the importance of getting it right, we've come up with 6 steps, right? Don't feel worried about it. You know, it's because we want to protect you, because we want to make sure that you provide everything it takes for a backer to be confident about your campaign and about yourself, and obviously back your campaign so that you can get the funding you need to go about creating the impact you want. That's the reason why we have so many steps. But if you look at this particular creator journey very keenly, you could argue that there are three parts to it, really. The first part is just providing information. So the basic information page and the verification page basically is just providing information about yourself. So you could argue that that's one lump. And there's a second lump, which is risk transformation. We help you to really come up with something that makes sense through incubator support, and through due diligence, we try to make sure that any asymmetric information is removed. So that's the second bucket. And the final bucket is you promote your campaign, you get your money, we ensure that you spend the money in the right place. So you can see that in reality, it's still three simple steps broken down into small bits and pieces to get it right, okay? So my point to wrap up to this session is, don't feel worried about the process that may appear to be hectic. We are there to support you. We are there to support you. Use our WhatsApp channel. Those who have Gmail accounts, send them to us and we'll set you up on our Slack. Connect to us on YouTube. You will see a lot of video where we provide free incubator support. Join any of our social media channels and see some of the things we are up to. And obviously, send an email to the support@amrefinance.com email address. You'll get a response within 24 hours without fail. Okay, we are really there for you. If you succeed, we succeed, and therefore, please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have any challenges as you go through these steps. I'm really looking forward to each one of you who has participated on today's call to come on to next week Hangout and tell us that you are now on stage 3 of this journey for a minimum, right? Okay, well, that's it for me. Thank you. I give the mic back to Ed and Henry to close it.
Ed, I don't have any parting
Thank you
comments.
so much. Neither do I. I mean, Jean Paul has summarized it very succinctly. It's been an awesome time, having, as usual, hanging out with your creators and impact campaigners. We hope that as you get through, the next week, building your campaigns and getting them ready for funding. If you need any help from us, you know how to reach us. We are more than, willing to help you through this journey to ensure that, you do succeed in raising the funds required to create the impact that you want to create in your community. So until then, we look forward to having you again in the next session, next Thursday, 6 p.m. Central African time. Thank you so much.
All right. Cheers. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.